Starting now. Saying we live here.
Good to go.
You good to go out?
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Hey, Shalom, brothers. We want to give all praises to Yahweh by Yeshim, Yahweh Shah by Yeshim Kodash.
Dash.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders that rule well, and peace and blessings to brothers that is keeping his word, sincerity, also in truth. According to prophecy, there's a lot of things that's going on in the spirit. What we see going on here in contemporary times is you have a lot of people. You have a lot of people coming against each other. You know, the Democrats and Republicans. Black Lives Matters versus white nationalists. You have white nationalists versus Antifa. You know, you see the Egyptian rising up against the Egyptian. You see have mass influx of immigration occurring. You know, not only here in the U.S. with the whole situation with Honduras, but you see it, abroad, particularly in Europe. You know, with them getting a huge influx of immigrants, and also you see wars and rumors of wars, and we know that when all these things are to happen, we understand that our salvation is soon to come. So we wanted to read in Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, and also pull out a couple of news articles, just to help brothers stay current with what's going on, because we are the watchmen for Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, and our job is to keep keep feeding the flock of Yahweh Shah. You see, with us feeding, what are we supposed to feed them? What we supposed to feed them with knowledge, understanding, filtered through the scriptures. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in, my brother.
All right, bro. Can I bring out a quick precept?
Certainly.
All right, Habakkuk 2:1,
Mm-hmm. Uh,
and I'll just wait until
same
you
site. Gone.
retrieve it.
Yeah, lucky man. I don't know why they can't get you same site.
Come on, bro. It's
Tickle.
all good.
Yeah.
Good things. Hey, good things come to those who wait.
Let patience work if pressure work. I got you, my brother. I'm gonna read it for you.
All right, bro.
This is Habakkuk 2:1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what will say unto me, and
Right.
what.
The Most High
Mhm.
speaks to his prophets, you know what I'm saying? Hey, utilizing the spirit, utilizing current events, man. So through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah, we're able to tell you that things are getting close because, hey, the spirit of Yahweh Shah is the ability to prophesy, man. Go ahead, bro.
God, and what I shall answer when I am reproved.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it.
Right. And so write the vision and make it plain upon tables. The tables are the scriptures, okay? That he may run that readeth it. And that's what we're doing right now. Okay, so we're reading the scriptures. We see what's going on, utilizing current events, and so we're running with this by doing the videos, man.
That's right.
Go ahead.
For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because will surely come, it will not tarry.
Right, and the reason why that actually is tarrying because prophecies, other prophecies, has to be fulfilled as well. So we understand that through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah that hey, the kingdom of heaven is nigh. Okay, and so at the same time frame, we understand that the chip is coming. We understand that World War III is coming, and we know that America is going down. We understand that we're going to be persecuted as well. All right, but at the same time frame good things come to those who wait. And that was it, bro.
That's right. I had a quick one because you just reminded me of one. Romans. Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning,
Right.
that
So
we
everything that is written in the scriptures is for our learning. Okay. And at the same time frame, like the holy men, the prophets that that wrote the scriptures at that time frame, they didn't understand. Why? Because at that time frame, their goal was to actually put it down on the tables. Okay. However, that understanding would come during the end, and that's what we see right now. Go ahead, bro.
God. Um, back in verse 4, that for whatsoever thing were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of these scriptures might have hope.
Right. And that patience and that comfort all comes through our faith, which is given to us by Yahweh Shem Shah. So we understand how to maneuver when certain things happen because why? It's already written within the scriptures. That's why the scriptures is likened to a comforter.
That's right. That's right, brother. That's right. And with these scriptures are giving us comfort, and they will be the also be help us have stability when
Hmm.
our hell breaks loose, man. Alluding to Isaiah 33.
That's right.
You know, because when all hell break loose, and these people aren't going to be ready, but we have been spiritually getting ourselves ready this whole time. That's why it says in 1 Corinthians 10, around 4, that our weapons are not carnal. You see,
Hmm.
we're not gonna, you know, we're not telling brothers to buy bunkers, and store food and things of that nature, which we're not condemning either. But what we're telling our people is to get themselves ready, spiritually, man.
That's right.
You see, and a huge way of getting yourself ready spiritually is understanding in depth, prophecy and what's to happen soon. Here in the U.S., here in Babylon, and also around the world.
Hmm.
Okay, so this is go ahead and read that for me, my brother.
Yeah, no problem, bro. This is Second Ezra 15:1. It states, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord."
That's right. So us as the priest of the Most High, under the order of Melchizedek, we are to preach uh, the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, it's the spirit of prophecy, which is exemplified in who Yahweh Shah, man.
That's right.
So we had the spirit of Yahweh Shah. We supposed to be preaching about prophecy. You see, that's the underlying thing that we need to be bringing out. Go ahead up.
Verse 2, "Cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true.
Mhm.
Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee."
That's right. So we're not supposed to allow, you know, you know, them that want to come up against us, stop us from doing the work, because the Most High has not gave us the spirit of fear, man.
Hmm.
Right, Lord has not.
Yeah,
I
because if
know
you
it's
look into that term incredulity, that goes into that term credit. All right. And so when you define credit, it means to believe. All right. So and you can liken that statement to like this credit system. All right, because we already know that America has like fiat money, but what makes America's money stable and still strong is people's belief within this money system, man.
mm, that's
Like
right.
that's where you get the term like creed. Creed means to believe. You know.
That's right. That's right. And that word, another definition for that word incredulity, it means disbelief. So
Mm-hmm.
all these other people don't believe in the prophecy, but that's not supposed to stop us and what we believe in. You see,
Right.
in our actuality, that's supposed to galvanize us because we know that the majority of these people aren't going to understand the will of Yahweh by Shini Shah, man. I had a real quick one. Now,
Go ahead,
This is
bro.
Second Timothy 1:7. For the Most High hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind.
Right, right. And the way you get that power of love and a sound mind is basically the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah has given you, and also utilizing the comfort. Because when you read the scriptures and you see what our forefathers went through, which are us as well, you understand, okay, this is how you react to certain situations, man. So like the brother was saying, that alone stabilizes your mindset, and it builds up your spiritual character as well, man, which is going to help you make better actions based on your belief system.
Mm, beautiful. Uh, you want to go back to that
Yeah, verse 3.
con?
All right, back in Second Ezra 15:3, fear not the imaginations against thee, that not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee.
Hmm.
For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
That's right. All these people coming up against us and scoffing against us, against the true nation of Israel, waking up. Case in point, you got guys like Vocab Malone and his Calvinist friends like K Dub and Jesus is the Word,
Mm-hmm.
which is a false Jew actually. When you do your research on that guy, all these guys coming up against us, they're gonna die in their iniquity, man, in their unfaithfulness, and also really that goes into 2/3 of our people that's scoffing against us,
Right.
like what's my man, the Milwaukee twins,
Yeah,
them
Beavis and
niggas.
Butthead and shit.
Yeah, man. Bebop, my man. What's one? What them two dudes? Bebop and Rocksteady. Them two knuckleheads. you
Yeah,
know,
Dumb and Dumber and shit.
yeah. You got the
Right.
Riddler. You know what I'm saying? Avenger for Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys are gonna die in unfaithfulness, man, because their whole platform was coming up against the true men of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh
Mm-hmm.
and not spreading the true word, not preaching gospel, the true gospel, not spreading, what I'm saying, the prophecy for the elect, but scoffing. Go
Mm-hmm.
ahead, Doc.
Okay. Back in the scripture. You know what? Can I bring out one real quick?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Hey, this is Romans 3:3.
God,
Just to link that up for you, bro.
I got you. Romans 3:3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect?
And no, it's not, because at the end of the day, like the elder is saying, prophecies are still going to be fulfilled, but at the same time frame, 2/3 of our people are not going to believe. So therefore, somebody has to fulfill that prophecy
That's right.
to
Keep
have
on.
that unfaithfulness, which is going into that term incredulity.
Hmm. God forbid. Yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar, as it is written.
Right. So the Most High is true, and every man is a liar. And the reason why every man is a liar is because basically man goes upon his emotions, you know what I'm saying? His thought patterns and things of that nature. And due to those emotions, he makes poor choices, man.
That's right. Uh, uh, as it as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when thou art judged.
Right. And that's the reason why, you know what I'm saying, we're going so hard because the Most High has given us that spirit to believe, man. This is not of us. That's the reason why the Avenger makes videos the way he makes. You know what I'm saying? As far as no prophecies, even Yashar in Milwaukee, they don't make anything relevant to prophecies. All they do is a great millstone smear campaign, man. That has nothing to do with prophecies, man. Because what ultimately prophecies actually leads to the term salvation, man.
That's right. Hmm, that's right. Understanding that prophecy is important,
Mm-hmm.
because Because basically that's the end game. That's the Most High setting up His kingdom on earth. But these guys don't have any faith. They
Right.
have incredulity. They have incredulity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
They don't
right.
believe that the Most High is coming back, nor His Son.
Okay. All
You
right,
know,
this is back in Second Ezra's 15:5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction.
that's what you see going on. At a very high capacity throughout the earth. So you had the sword, and chiefly, this has been the sword has been swung by America. Okay, on these smaller nations. Case in point, Afghanistan,
Mm-hmm.
Iraq, Libya,
Mm-hmm.
you know, regions in North Africa. There's actually wars in North Africa that is funded by the U.S. and nobody's talking about. These proxy wars that's funded by the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with ISIS and all the other groups. You see that happening, on a very large scale. But if you're not paying attention, you're going to make the argument that wars have always happened. Man, America has been in war for over 10 years now, man. I would
Mm-hmm.
dare say for almost 20 years since 2001. That's not normal, you know. Famines, you see famines going on in Venezuela, in
Okay.
Brazil. Now there's
Greece.
martial law. Greece, now there's martial law. Death, pestilence are at an all-time high. Here in
Mm-hmm.
the U.S., STDs are at an all-time high because of lewd acts like homosexuality and adultery.
Yeah.
You see, and destruction.
EDC.
Yep, yep, and a whole lot of destruction, man. A whole lot in many capacities.
That's right.
Go ahead, out.
Verse 6, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled.
That's right. Go ahead, out.
All right. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually.
And that's us. We're complaining to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. We're giving him no rest. You see,
Mm-hmm.
we are those people that hated their life unto death,
Mm-hmm.
spoken about in Revelations. You see, that are continue complaining to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and you like and telling them, hey man, get us out of here, please, Baba Kasha, Lord. Do you
Mm-hmm.
see all this wickedness? And that's the same sentiment that our forefathers had. In case in point, Habakkuk, had the same sentiment. Like, man, ain't no righteous judgment going on here. All you see is the wicked getting over.
That's right.
And with that sentiment, we complain to the Heavenly Father, in hopes that He get us out of here. And guess what? He's hearing us.
Yeah.
You see, what's that one parable? The judge. That's in Luke 18. The judge and the woman that continue playing complain to the judge.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he was like, you know what? I don't, I'm gonna just do what she asked. Here we go. Luke 18:1, and he spake a parable unto them to this end that men are always to pray and not to faint, saying
Mm-hmm.
there was in a city a judge who feared the Most High, neither who feared not the Most High, neither regarded man. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of my adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I fear not the Most High, nor regard man, yet because this woman troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge said. And shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them?
That's right. And the reason why the Most High is bearing long because prophecies has to be fulfilled, man. So that's why the scripture stated started off in Luke 18 and 1. Like you supposed to pray and not faint. Just because, at time frames you don't, it's not moving fast enough, you supposed to go harder, man. Because just like this unjust judge, basically, hearkened and said what that woman and gave her correct judgment, the Most High is gonna take care of us. If an unjust did this because that woman continued to get on his nerves, that's why we supposed to cleave to the Most High 10 times more. We supposed to get on his nerves as well because we understand that he's a righteous judge, and in due time, he's gonna come and redeem us, man.
That's right. That's right. That's right, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Can we let's go back to this second address?
Yeah, yeah. And also, if I can add to Second Ezra 15 and 8,
Mm-hmm.
you have it spoken of in the book of Revelation 2. It talks about like how the innocent and righteous blood cried unto me. And just to build on what the elder was saying, you have our forefathers in the spirit world. You have Israelites in the spirit world. You got prophets in the spirit world. Even people that didn't know the truth. Once they come to their correct mindset, they're complaining to Yahweh Bashem Al Shah basically of what this white man is doing and how fucked up the world is, man.
That's right.
You know?
Mm.
This is second Ezra 15 and 9. And therefore said the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them.
That's right.
Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
That's right. Now we know that this Egypt is the spiritual Egypt, man, because the second Esdras, well, this was written. He was a contemporary of what? What's my man name? Well, Jeremiah was during the
Mm-hmm.
Babylonian captivity. You see, so this is talking about the spirit, which we are in the spiritual Babylon, alluding to Revelations the 11th chapter.
Right.
Go ahead, Art.
Verse 11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before and will destroy all the land thereof.
Mm-hmm.
Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it.
That's right. And that spirit again, that Egypt is that spiritual Egypt, which is here in the U.S. Because basically the U.S. is really a reincarnation of several empires, of wicked empires, man. And Egypt is one of them.
Yeah,
You know,
Nineveh,
Nineveh, Babylon,
yeah, Syria,
Syria. Yep,
Sodom and Gomorrah,
yep.
Assyria, Sodom and Gomorrah.
That's right. All that mixed in one.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's Revelation.
What says that? Is it the eighth verse?
I want to say it's 8. Yep. Revelations 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified.
Right, that great city, like the elder is saying, is America. And the reason why it's spiritually called Sodom and Gomorrah, because basically it does everything that Sodom and Gomorrah used to participate in with homosexuality, with bestiality, so on and so forth. And also where also our Lord was crucified because Yahweh Shai is likened to a white man, a so-called white man in this society, man. You don't see the true revelation of Yahweh Shah as being a dark-skinned brown man.
That's right. You have some Edomites out there that liken him to a sodomite, man.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And told blasphemy
Mm-hmm.
towards our heavenly Father, man. You know. So we know that in this place, our Father was, our Savior, Yahweh Shah, was totally xed out.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and this is the place in which we had received one of the worst captivities ever recorded. from the northern tribe to the southern tribe, man. Our
Yep.
northern tribe brothers was totally decimated, wiped out the Tainos,
Mm-hmm.
the Native Americans, so-called Native Americans,
Mm-hmm.
the indigenous people of Central and South America,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Issachar.
Issachar, totally wiped out, man. They came over here, raped our women, made a whole different caste systems. You got a lot of people out there that seem to be Northern tribe, but a lot of them are Latino Edomites, man.
That's right.
You know, and then the ones that are, you know, the uh, the true nation of Israel, man, they're bugged out on all types of into all types of madness, and that one number one thing is Catholicism that was pushed on our people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so this place is gonna be destroyed by Yahweh by Shai, that land of Egypt, man.
God. All right, back in Second Ezra, 15 and 12, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting in hell and with a fearful constellation.
That's right. So what is that going into? That's symbolically speaking, that could be literal or that could be symbolic. What's going on now? What do you see in the U.S. economy? Well, it's failing.
Mm-hmm.
Now the chicken are coming home to roost, and the reason
Mm-hmm.
why is because the feds, pump the U.S. economy basically with loans, man.
That's
And
right.
now the loans are, they're gonna have to pay these various countries, and banks are gonna have to pay these loans back, and they're not gonna be able to, man. And also they increase the interest rate, man. So there's a huge bubble of debt that's about to pop, you know, in the U.S. that nobody's really speaking about except for his prophets. You see, it's about to be, you know, 2019 might be a very interesting year, man, economy wise.
That's
Can
right.
you see that, my brother?
Yeah, bro, it's clear.
Okay. You mind reading that for
Okay,
me?
no problem. Let my computer load up. This is
Hmm.
actually entitled "Why the Fed is Public Enemy Number One for the Stock Market." All right, and this article was published April the 12th, 2018. All right, bro, hold on, let me get to it. All right, it states over the past several weeks, policies uncertainty has been the biggest driver of moves in the U.S. stock market, which investors fretting the protectionist measures published by President Donald Trump could escalate into a trade war.
That protectionist measures that's going into how basically nationalist basically nationalist rhetoric. These
Mm,
various countries you're starting to see that they're becoming more about pro self or pro their country versus other countries versus globalizations. And a
mm-hmm.
beautiful example of that is Brexit, the whole Brexit idea ordeal, man. You got more people like, you know what, we need to focus on our country and not allow these immigrants to come in and things of that nature. So now you're starting to see a nationalist movement, occur abroad. You know, that's what that's going into.
Beautiful, makes sense.
Hmm.
A Donald Trump could escalate into a trade war, or that recent issues surrounding internet companies could herald a more aggressive regulatory environment against some of the economy's biggest names.
That's right. So it says it's saying uh these uh these protectionist movements that Trump is doing could lead to an escalated trade war. Now this is written in April this year, and you see that this article was correct. Now it's starting to be known that China and the U.S. are in a trade war. You had China dumped a lot of uh, U.S. debt and also put various sanctions on products of the U.S., which is not really a lot. Case like soybeans, they
Yeah.
put they put a what's that? I want to say a sanction on that, which really hurt the U.S. farmers. And conversely, you had the U.S. put sanctions on China,
Mm-hmm.
and also various other countries, man.
Yeah.
Because of protectionist, you know, you measures that Donald Trump is issuing out. Because really, what's going on is Donald Trump sees that these other economies are getting ready to not use the petrodollar anymore. More and more of these countries are starting to use the petro yuan, which as of now, the petro yuan is only like 2%. It's only 2% in the world circulation or the world economy. So it's not really a huge threat. But in years, if this world's still around, years from now, or very soon, it could that number can escalate relatively quickly, which is going to cause inflation for the U.S. So so Donald Trump is making steps really to keep the U.S. In good standings, man. And within that, you're going to see the other nations rise up against that whore, because these people are tired of being bullied by the U.S., man.
Yeah.
And dealing with this economy, the American economy is in turmoil because it's not backed by anything, just backed by debt. Debt
Mm-hmm.
for what it is. And that's what you see going on. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah. It states Donald Trump could escalate into a trade war, or that recent issues surrounding internet companies could herald a more aggressive regulatory environment against some claims. Over the longer term, however, the real policy risk facing Wall Street may not come from the White House or Congress, but from the Federal Reserve.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead,
Right.
Doc.
All right. It states the U.S. central bank has been gradually shifting its monetary policy in two significant ways, raising interest rates and reducing the size of its balance sheet.
That's
Yeah.
right. So,
Mm-hmm.
so with the so like with the Feds raising the interest rates, these loans that these various companies got uh during the quantitative easing, bailing out these various countries, these various corporations, these quote too big to fail corporations, and these banks by giving them loans and things of that nature. By raising the interest rate, that's going to cut all the gains that they have accumulated. Why is that? Because they're gonna have to pay the thing. They're gonna have to pay back these balances, at a more higher rate. Case in point, you get a loan for 13,000, okay, at a flat rate zero. You know what I'm saying? So at a zero interest rate. So now, and you paying what let's say 193 a month. But with that interest rate increasing, that joker goes up to 500
Mm-hmm.
a month. That's going to hurt you, man. Especially if you're a company that's the gains are not so well. You only scratching, breaking even. You see, with that increase, that's going to kill you, man. That's gonna put your overhead, at a higher rate. And what are you gonna have to do? Well, you're gonna have to cut costs.
That's right.
You have to lay off people. Close up certain. If you're nationwide, you're gonna have to close down different plants that you might have, or offices you might have, or whatever. You see, just to what? Just to pay your bills, man. And
Kind.
you're gonna see that on a huge grand scheme, man. All these companies are gonna start downgrading, man. It's gonna hurt the little man. You see?
That's right.
So, yeah.
Hey, bro, I got a quick precept for you.
Con.
I'm gonna read Habakkuk 2 and 6 for you.
Okay. Uh,
And I'll wait till you load it up.
All right. Got you, brother.
Okay. All right, this is Habakkuk 2 and 6. It states, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that layeth himself with thick clay.
Yep, and that word thick clay is what about you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just for the edification, let's look it up. You know, which means basically debt, and that's what the U.S. has built its entire economy over on. It's like it's debt.
That's
It's
right.
a whole bunch of debt, man, and that debt is going to eventually swallow up this place. The Feds is nothing but the biggest Ponzi scheme, you know, it's the biggest Ponzi scheme ever.
That's right.
Uh, wage of pledges, heavy debts. Yep.
Yep. And that's it. Going back into this credit, like the elder is saying, going back into this credit based system, man.
Hmm.
Because you're these these Americans as well as these certain nations. You know, you have a lot of nations trying to remove themselves away from the dollar. But you know, like I stated before, the dollar is still strong because it's the belief system within the dollar. Because the dollar is not backed by anything, man. You know, when you
Yep.
look up the term a dollar, it's just a measurement. So what is it a measurement of? Not gold nor silver at this time, Frank.
That's right. It's really the thing about it is that the uh, the U.S. dollar is really backed by oil. You know what I'm saying? And the buying and selling of oil, and that's what making it so makes it so strong. Is the fact that you had these various people using the American dollar to buy and sell oil, man. But now you're starting to see people back away from that. As I said earlier,
Mm,
they're going to use that petrol you want. You see, that's going to be a threat to the U.S., man.
that's right.
So really, there's an artificial going back to land back and what the deacon said. There's an artificial need for the petrol dollar, man.
Yeah, kind. Because if I could just add, like the other stated before in the first paragraph of this article, like that protectionist measures, you know what I'm saying? Like Donald Trump basically is trying to keep America on top per se, but at the same time frame, you're hurting your allies because when he puts sanctions on Iran, those
Hmm.
sanctions not only affects Iran, but it affects the EU. All right, so when he put sanctions on China, and in return, China placed sanctions on America, Germany is feeling the aftermath of that. You know.
That's right. That's
Mm.
right. That's right, huh? You want to go ahead and finish that?
Yeah, bro, we can
We'll
definitely
just
do
read
that.
like two articles. I mean, two, three more paragraphs of this, and we'll be done with this one.
Okay, bro. Where did I stop at, bro? It was
That
over long.
yeah, no, that third
Okay.
paragraph.
All right, I'm gonna start at okay, kind of over the long term. However, the real policy risk facing Wall Street may not come from the White House or Congress, but from the Federal Reserve. The U.S. Central Bank has been gradually shifting its monetary policy in two significant ways: raising interest rates and reducing the size of its balance sheet. Low rates and the Fed's bond buying program are seen as major contributors to the equity market's massive rally over the past decade.
Mm-hmm.
And while changes to these policies have been widely telegraphed, analysts says Wall Street is still not appreciating the risk they represent.
That's right. So when you look at like the increase of the like the economy, so like that, it usually is like 8% with certain grab, but the last couple of years it done rallied in. Well, actually, it's the stock exchange. You know, you see an increase in it a whole year is like 8%. But through these last couple of years, it's been exponential. And the reason why is because of these loans, usually these bonds and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That these corporations buy. You see, it increased, substantially, man. You know, on paper it looked like the U.S. economy is going hard, but really that was nothing but debt,
Mm-hmm.
nothing but debt. And now you're seeing that the chickens are coming home to roost with the Feds increasing the that interest rate, man.
That's
You know,
right.
they're gonna hurt these various corporations, man.
Yeah. All right. Okay, back into the article. It states
Hmm.
years of accumulated policy distortion, a lack of Fed maneuvering room, and shockwaves from policy are the S&P 500 risks we see, but not corporated earnings or economic growth,
Hmm.
said Barry Bannister.
So it's really not really any growth. Basically, what it's saying, using all these big words, years of accumulated policy distortion, a lack of Fed maneuvering room, and shockwaves from policies are the S&P 500 risks we see, but not corporate earnings or economic growth. Really, they're saying that there wasn't no economic growth. Only reason we seeing this increase in the economy is because of these huge loans that was given to these various banks and huge corporations, man. The quantitative easing. You see,
Right.
go ahead, huh?
Said Barry Bannister, head of institutional equity strategy at Stifel. Bannister had been warning about Fed related risks for a while, and he recently speculated that if the Fed mishandles the transition to a more normalized policy, that could spark an unusual rapid bear market, leading to a lost decade for stocks or 10 years with no positive returns.
And you see that, and
Dang,
that's what we see now, man. We're seeing that bearish economy come into play, and also huge losses. What there was, yeah, I think in one day it was like 1,800 loss, man. So the stock exchange is doing substantially well. So going back to what we were reading in second Esdras, we
mm-hmm.
see that coming into play now. You see,
That's right. That's right.
we see this place economy is falling, man. You know, which really it never was doing well. Never was doing well. You know, since 2008. I mean, you could make arguments, before that, but it's been a downhill trot. It's been beginning with all this debt and things of that nature, so it looks good.
That's right.
You know? Can we read that again? Not
Yeah, bro.
going
Yeah.
to that
I mean,
13.
yeah. Hold on. What did you want me to read again, bro?
Yeah, verse 13 and second Ezra
Oh yeah,
15.
Khan. This is second Ezra 15 and 13. It states, they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail and with a fearful constellation.
That's right. So we
Whew.
see the economy of this place, what I'm saying, dwindling, man. It's not doing well at all. Both
Hey,
sides is sending plagues into this place, you know?
hey, bro, I got a precept for you, Elder.
Okay. Okay. Can you mind if I
What you want
read?
me to get first, bro?
I got this one right here.
Hey, which one? Joel, what you want me to start at one?
Well, uh, Joel 14.
1 and 14? Okay. All right. All right. This is Joel 1 and 14. It states, sanctify ye a fast, call a solemn Salaki, bro. All right, Joel 1 and 14. It states, sanctify ye a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land into the house of Yahweh, your power, and cry unto Yahweh.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Alas, for the day, for the day of Yahweh is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Is not the meat cut off before our eyes? Yea, joy and gladness from the house of our power.
Mm-hmm.
The seed is rotten under their clods. The garners are laid desolate. The barns are broken down, for the corn is withered.
Mm-hmm. That's
Damn.
right. So the day of the Lord is gonna be a day of destruction. You see, and we're seeing that, man. We're seeing that this economy is being torn down little by little, man. And it's being destroyed. You know, right before our eyes. We see we're seeing a slow death of the economy, and
Mm-hmm.
it really is about to start escalating soon, man. It's about to start getting really bad out here, man. You
That's
see
right.
where you know we're gonna see more businesses close down, more people getting on government assistance. And we
Mm-hmm.
could even start to see austerity measures like likened unto um, what's going on in Europe, man, which is not really talked about. Europe is in a huge recession, man. And
Come,
people
bro.
are talking about, and all this is prophesied to happen in the latter days.
Mm-hmm.
You see, read that verse 18 up.
Yeah, verse 18. How do the beasts groan? The herds of cattle are perplexed because they have no pasture. Yea, the flocks of sheep are made desolate.
That's right. The flocks of sheep are made desolate, man. You see, and we're gonna see that happen. Like, that could be, symbolic, or that could actually happen, man. The cattle, these cattle, man,
Mm-hmm.
are being in straits also.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's right. Verse.
that's what's going on with these farmers. These farmers, they're killing themselves here in the U.S.
Yup.
because of the very sanctions that was put on them because of Trump's actions. And so what's ironic is these are guys who probably voted for
Right.
him. You had something, Mark?
That's right. Do you want me to finish 19 and 20?
What you think? Let's see. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Verse 19. It states, O Yahweh, to thee will I cry, for the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flame have burned all the trees of the field.
That's right. You seeing actual uh these actual natural fires in California destroying millions of acres, man. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All this sporadic weather that we're getting,
That's right.
that's a factor that's destroying these crops. You know,
That's right. Because hey, you gotta think about this. A society such as America or a system such as America, agriculture plays a good part, man. So if these fires are destroying land in California, then that's gonna hurt income due to your cattle, man, or due from your cattle,
that's right.
you know, or plants. If you have oranges, orange orchids out there and things of that nature, grapes, so on and so forth. Think about how much money you're losing from that, and of course, that's going to hurt your economy.
That's right, bro. Beautiful.
All right, verse 20. The beasts of the field cry also unto thee, for the rivers of waters are dried up, and the fire have devoured the pastures of the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
The fire has devoured the pastures. You see, that's what we see going on now, man. These, around the world. Yeah, you got what in South America, in South Africa, excuse me. These white, these white so-called white farmers lamenting because their land was took. You see,
Mm-hmm.
all types of madness is going down here in, in the world, man.
That's right, bro.
You have to have eyes to see and ears to
Mm-hmm.
hear. You want to go
Yep.
back to the second Ezra's up?
Yeah, bro. All right, this is back in Second Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands.
And that's what you're seeing here in the U.S. You have these various groups, you know, at at war with one another, or just y'all just have enmity towards one another, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the Democrats and Republicans. We find the elite, you know, for them to push a wicked agenda.
That's right.
You have this guy was a Sayok, which I did research on him. They saying he's a Native American. He ain't no Native American. His father's from Philippines. You know, so he ain't no Jay. He ain't no Jay. This guy, is a conservative that wanted to bomb these these various figureheads that are Democrats, man. So you seeing one people fighting against another, and also this is spoken about in Isaiah 19. You got the Egyptians rising up against the Egyptians, man.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and read this one, brother.
Okay, bro.
Caesar Soyak was a DJ, bodybuilder, and pizza delivery man before he became a bomber suspect. Which we know this is bullshit. It's probably a false flag. This seemed like a character in a damn movie or something.
Okay.
Hours
Hey,
before his arrest, Caesar Sayok was playing music sets at a Florida strip club. Few there were aware of his political views. He was a nice guy, said Stacy uh, Sackle, the club's general manager, told CNN affiliate WPTV. He would make jokes just funny. At least four times a week over the past 2 months, the 56-year-old parked his white Dodge van plastered with stickers supporting President Donald Trump and depicting some of Trump's critics with targets over their images near the Ultra Gentlemen's Club in West Palm Beach. Uh, Sometimes he would work as a DJ and others as a bouncer. Sayak was arrested Friday after federal authorities said he sent 14 pipe bombs through the U.S. mail to prominent Democrats around the world, around the country. None of the bombs detonated, and no one was injured. He's facing federal charges and could receive up to 48 years in prison if convicted. Sayag was, let's see here. The investigation continued. Uh, here's what we have learned about the suspect bomb maker. He's a bodybuilder, a former male dancer. Come on, man. It just sounds like BS.
yeah. Okay.
Eh, he is a bodybuilder, a former male dancer. Sayat of Aventura, Florida, is a bodybuilder who worked as a male dancer for several years and most recently as a PC driver. On his LinkedIn account, Sayat described himself as a choreographer and booking agent for male strippers and boy, what's it, boy, let's liquor shows on Twitter. He said he is a current booking agent selling wooty woo wooty woo. The the Cinema Tribe of Florida, Similar Gaming and Hard Rock International said there was no evidence the subject is or was a member of or was employed by any of the two groups. They also said blah blah blah. Let me get down to nitty gritty. Get to it. Let's get to his beliefs and all that. He says he appears to be to have been estranged from his family for several years. A 2012 bankruptcy filing in Florida indicated that Sayak lived with his mom, owns no furniture. The 46 page filing signed by Sayak in June 2000 June 2012 listing total assets of $4,175 and liabilities of 21,109. But an attorney representing Sayak's family said he has not visited his mom's condo in at Victoria for at least 3 years. His mom and sister had urged him to seek medical attention because he struggled with a lack of comprehension of reality. Attorney Ronald C. Lauer said he thinks that there's nothing wrong with him. Lauer says in a telephone interview shortly after meeting his with his suspect's family on Friday. So I guess apparently this guy must supposed to be crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
it seems like they're trying to declare him as, of course, mentally ill. And I had read an article, I don't know if it was this year or last year, but they were saying that the government is trying to utilize like mentally per se, acclaimed mentally ill people as a justification to take away the guns from the public, man.
makes sense.
So it will be least resistance when Esau, makes his final move, on the nation of Israel along with these other nations as well.
Con, con.
Hey,
Loy, the family's attorney, says Sayak's father is Filipino and his mother is Italian. He said Sayak was not particularly active when he met him, politically active when he met him. It appears that he was kicked out by his parents and had been living in his white Dodge van, where he was found Friday. A law enforcement official said investigators believe that Sayak made the pipe bomb in that van. Two law enforcement sources said inside the van, inside the vehicle were soldering equipment, stamps, envelopes, paper, and printer and powder, the source said. So he has at least a lengthy criminal background,
mm-hmm,
and right to some of his colleagues, Sayak was not particularly involved in politics, but his social media accounts and his van tell a different story. In 2016, Sayak registered to vote as a Republican in Florida, and a Facebook video showed him in a "Make America Great Again" hat at a Trump rally. You see that? So they started
mm-hmm,
these two parties against each other like more than ever. You see, he was prolific on his uh, prolific. He was prolific on his two Facebook accounts and three Twitter feeds, often posting proactive photos and memes attacking liberals.
mm-hmm,
He took on Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum, the Democratic nominee in the Florida governor's race, more than 80 times in October alone. So this guy, he's supposed to, he's a hardcore Republican, you know, that he was going to do something about it. These dang on Democrats, in which we know he probably was set up by the government, but
uh,
that just goes back to what we were bringing out. One person's to fight up against another. You
right,
see, this guy is a prime example. You see,
mm-hmm.
you know, it says that's all we need on that. This is his van here. This is the pictures of his van. He just trumped out. You know,
Yeah, that
so
shit,
yeah,
it seems staged.
it seems just hella staged, man. I ain't gonna lie, it seems hella staged. You
But that
know,
still fulfills what the prophecy, because although it's staged, it's still what Esau is trying to generate is one people to fight against another people. You know,
Yep.
because that's the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
Yep. And then people are actually believing this though. You got to
Right.
Our eyes are open, so we think it's dumb. But you have
Mm-hmm.
people out there that actually believe in like Democratic versus Republicans. You know, you have people that are in these various groups that was created by the U.S. government, like Antifa. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's a liberal organization, but you have people going to these rallies and they're ready to they're ready to ride on so-called fascist white people, man.
That's
Other
right.
fascist white people. So you see, you know, these white people that they're beginning to fight against each other, man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
which is beautiful because that's all according to prophecy.
Yeah.
Let me get this in Isaiah. Now this is Isaiah 19:1. The burden of Egypt, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will
Right.
set the Egyptians up slacking.
No, go ahead, Elder. It's on you.
And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians,
Mm-hmm.
and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you see going on now. You see in the modern day modern day Egyptians. These Americans, they're fighting against each other, man. Whether it be Democratic versus Republican, Black Lives Matter versus the conservative group, white nationalists versus other not white nationalist groups. It's going down. It's going down, man.
That's right.
One people should rise up against another. That's males are rising up against females. You had the man go your own way movement. You know, you have
That's
these.
right.
You have the so-called black woman. She ready to. You got. I forget her name. She talking about. She wrote a book on how black women should just marry Asians. you know, so there's all types of madness that's going on out here, man. But it's beautiful because it's fulfilling prophecy. You
Right.
see? Yeah, some brother.
Hey, yeah. Hey, Elder, I'm gonna get Mark 3:23 for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and also that article that I had, we can just fall back on that one, bro.
Think so?
Yeah, yeah. Because the point is beautiful, beautifully been made.
Come on. I mean, as we keep reading, we can bring that out too. No matter.
Yeah, we good.
Come on.
I got this for you though, Elder. This is Mark 3:23, just backing up the breakdown you just broke down. This is Mark 3:23, and he called them unto him, and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. And if a
Mm.
house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end.
That's right. And that's what you see now, man. You see nothing but division here in the U.S., man. And
Mm-hmm.
that's going to culminate to basically it's destruction. Its tongue is going to fall on itself, man. And that's what we're seeing.
Con.
Go ahead, Art.
All right, that's it. You want me to go back to Second Ezra's?
Con.
All right. Now this is back in Second Ezra's 15. I want to say I'm at 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Mm-hmm.
A
So
man shall desire.
go
Oh,
ahead,
a
Art.
man. Oh, did you? Was you trying to talk?
No, no, you good, Art.
Oh, Salak. All right. Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
That's right. And what's going on now? Well, you seeing uh, you seeing America is sending troops to the border to stop, all these immigrants from coming in from Honduras, man.
Mm-hmm.
You see, they're shutting them down. You know, this is a
Yeah.
Secretary Mattis will send some 800 U.S. troops to border with Mexico. Read a little bit of this. Defense Secretary John Mattis is expected to sign an order sending at least 800 U.S. troops to the U.S. Uh, Mexico border as a caravan of thousands of migrants head north from Central America. So it's not just from Honduras, but they from Central America. Because what's going on down there in South America, man? Well, it's social unrest. All these economies are failing, man. So these
Mm-hmm.
people are trying to go to a place that's more stable, which is where America. You know, and you got these people. They don't want these immigrants to come in. They're already building up a narrative and saying that you have a lot of people that's in ISIS that's going to be coming up. From these from South America.
Right.
And that's the same narrative that they use, to push these false flags, those false flags in France, what I'm saying, in Germany, you know, and things of that nature. They blame it on the immigrants, man. They said, you got extremists, that coming in to the land, man. And that's what's gonna happen again, bro.
That's right.
Spirit of most are willing. And most are willing. Another possible response to the approaching caravan, two White House officials declined to deny reports in the Washington Post, Politico, and other media outlets that the administration is considering an executive order to close the southern border to migrants, including asylum seekers. The officials told NPR's uh, Tamara Keith that the White House is considering a wide range of administrative, legal, and legislative options to address the democratic created crisis of mass illegal immigration. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
That goes back to what they're fighting one against one another. They're blaming on the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
No decision has been made at this time, nor will we forecast to smother uh, to smugglers or caravans what precise strategies will or will not be deployed. They said. NPR's Tom Bowman reports that the 800 troops were requested by the Department of Homeland Security after President Trump said he is intent on stopping any of the immigrants from entering the U.S. And that was really we don't have to keep on reading on that.
Yeah. Hey, I also read an article too, Elder. This was like this past week too. Well, yeah, actually, it was talking about like how Trump was saying that due to these influx of immigrants leaving Central America, that he was gonna start cutting off funding from those areas. You know.
Yep, I seen that too.
Mm-hmm.
That too.
So, like you saying, furthering, and all that is doing is just furthering isolating America by itself, man.
That's right. That's right. Yep. This is get back reading on that, bro.
Yeah, back in Second Ezra's, um, 15 and 18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
So when it gets bad out here, man, people gonna be killing one another because they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to eat,
That's
and you got
right.
something that I want. So I'm gonna take it. That's gonna be the sentiment out here, man.
Yeah.
So hey, it's gonna be the road out here. I don't know, brother, seen that movie. I recommend you go watch it. I might watch that today. It's gonna get crazy out here, man.
That's right. Hey, that's how Esau per se prophesy as well, like through his movie. So he's letting you know that basically he knows what's going down for him to, publish that within his movies, like the elder saying, like the road, also the book of Eli. You saw, people getting spoiled, because at the end of the day, um, this so-called system is not going to have Esau's silver laws, and therefore people are going to revert to being animalistic, man. Well, we know they're animalistic anyway because they're not governed by the laws, but just think about when Esau's system is down, man. They're just gonna be at all out warfare, man.
Con. That's right, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Right up. Where we at? Verse
I was
20.
good. Yeah, verse 20. Behold, saith the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Libanius, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them.
That's right. And that's what you see going on now. You see now these countries coming up against one another.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that's why I was gonna really pull your article out.
All right, if you want to do it, let's get it.
Yeah. We could just, I'll read a little bit of this and then shoot, go back to that. Second Edge, just two more chat verses and then we'll be done.
Okay, brother.
Yeah. Just for edification.
It
You see, it
come.
says U.S. could be at war with China in just 15 years. One's ex-U.S. Army chief in Europe, and read this. It says the former commander of the U.S. Army in Europe has issued a sobering assessment on the deteriorating state of U.S. relations, predicting that it's very likely the two nations will be at war in 15 years. Speaking at the Warsaw uh, Security Forum, Security Forum on Wednesday, retired Lieutenant General Ben Hodges said that the United States will have to shift its military to the Pacific to deal with the Chinese threat, uh,
Mm-hmm.
requiring Europe to take a more active role in its own defenses.
Right, and if I could just add, that's the reason why, of course, the United States is telling the EU either you're going to have to pay us more or you're going to have to start defending for yourselves because they're making that transition to fight against China as well, man. Because you have to think about how the military might of the Chinese. They have like I think 1 million people within their army, man.
That's right. Deep.
They're deep. They're
Deep.
deep. Yeah, hey,
Let me
I'll
see.
read something for you, Elder. It
No, I
speaks.
got it because you've
Okay,
been
go
reading this
ahead.
whole
Go
time.
ahead. All right.
Funding and training for Europe's security will still remain a top priority for Washington. Hodges emphasized, adding that the U.S. will also have to prepare for the eventually eventuality that in 10 or 15 years we're going to be fighting the fight in the Pacific.
Right, because hey, you have to think about this too. The United States wants a piece of that South China Sea. All right, and it's a lot of commerce, it's a lot of business ventures that comes from that sea. Because I want to say it's like five China alone. That sea brings in alone like $5 trillion. You know what I'm saying, like per year. So of course China is not gonna let that go without a fight. You know.
That's right. The former commander told the Associated Press that relations between U.S. and China were becoming increasingly tense,
Mm-hmm.
accusing Beijing of stealing tech, uh, technological uh, and
Mm-hmm.
technology gaining control of strategical. important infrastructure across Africa and Europe. He claimed that in Europe, China owns more than 10% of the ports.
Right, and that's what America does to justify itself going into these other countries or initiating warlike behavior. It's the same thing they did with Bin Laden. You know, of course, they stated that basically he was responsible for like 9/11, so they can just go into Afghanistan to get the poppy field, man. So this
Yeah.
devil, he has the same system, and that's what makes him prolific because he's patient. He utilizes the same tactics to attack to get what he wants.
Mm, that's right. Hodges served as did I read that? No, Hodges served as the U.S. Army commander in Europe from 2014 until last year. He now works for the Central Center for European Policy Analysis, a Washington-based research institute. The think tank receives funding from Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, as well as the U.S. Defense Department.
Mm-hmm.
These Jews in, and we're hoping that this war, is sooner than 10, 15 years, man. Which
Yeah,
I think looking like it looked like the U.S. is going to have to make a move soon in order for it to be, continue to be a world power because it's losing its grip.
that's right. That's right. And that's how you can liken the United States to Rome, because just like that's how Rome fell. Basically
Yep.
it began to be spread it thin. And that's how we know that the United States is that old pagan Roman Empire, because they're beginning to spread themselves thin, man. You can't be everywhere and still have the world power, because like the elder's saying, you're losing your grips in certain areas, man. Why? Because you're being spread it everywhere.
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse my language. His remarks come amid a slew of economic, political, and military tensions between Washington and Beijing. In recent months, the U.S. has stepped up naval operations in the South China Sea, in which it claims it is an effort to ensure freedom of navigation in the waterways around China. BS. Why are you just lying, bro?
Hey, they
Stop.
want that money, man.
Yes, man. Beijing has described the frequent
Incursions.
incursions as dangerous provocations.
Meaning, like, if
Relation,
y'all keep fucking around, y'all gonna have to meet us, man. Now we're asking you nicely, like this is our area. Now, what if China came to the United States and to the Mississippi River trying to say the same thing? You know what I'm saying? I know they're trying to use international maritime laws, but at the same time frame, you're still going into the Chinese backyard trying to take what's theirs because it's profit.
yep. hmm Relations are also souring on the economic front, citing alleged Chinese theft of technologies as well the U.S. trade deficit with China. Trump slapped tariffs on 250 billion worth of Chinese goods in September. Beijing reciprocated with tariffs on their with tariffs of their own.
Right. So
Trump,
when the United States did what they did, in response, Beijing hit the United States with 60 billion.
mm, and dropped some of his debt.
Mm-hmm.
Has also accused China of trying to meddle in upcoming elections. So Trump is just the U.S. is outright lying. Like man, Beijing has firmly denied the allegations, which have have yet to be substantiated by evidence.
Right. I mean, like, why would these other countries give a damn about what's going on as far as like from political standpoint. I could see it would be more believable if you actually had a Moabite running for, what I'm saying, a president or something like that.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. He was just lying, man. Just lied. You know.
That's right.
But shoot, we could go back to this article here, bro.
Which one?
I mean, not article. The scriptures and just read
Okay.
read the 21 and or 22. We'll be done.
All right, no problem, bro. I got you. Verse 21, back in Second Ezra 15 and 21. Like as they do, yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus said the Lord Yahweh.
So just like we were destroyed, as a nations, the Most High is going to set it up to where the other nations destroy each other.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
That's right.
Go
That's
ahead
right.
on.
Verse 22, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth.
And who is that right hand? With that right hand is Yahweh Shah. So when Yahweh Shah returns, guess
Mm-hmm.
what, man? He's going to destroy, the heathen, man.
That's right.
And that's what we're waiting for. That's the
Mm-hmm.
ultimate prophecy right there with Yahweh Shah
Con.
returning. Okay? So most High willing, this was edifying, man. We want to give all praise to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem Kakwadash. And double honors to the apostles and those that rule well. Peace and blessings to you brothers out there. Let's keep these words, sincerity and truth. Shalom.
Shalom, Akim.